I'm currently in somewhat of a forest in the grounds within Warwickshire, just near Packwood House, the National Trust site, and it's quite a beautiful place. It's a hidden gem, and the forest here is wonderful. I don't know if you can see the vast, I mean there's way more actually, but I'll just stay here for a bit just to introduce this video, which is why I disagree with calling myself God from modern manifestation content. I think it's quite an intrusive claim to say that we are God when God is the omnipotent, omniscient, extremely powerful, all that is. You just couldn't even fathom it, right? Our brains are limited for a reason. We couldn't even fathom it. So to say that one of us is God, but everyone is God, I understand what they're trying to say in terms of the concept of oneness, wholeness, being one with God. And I just want to, before I delve into what other scriptures say, I just want to give a little analogy of, seeing as I'm in a forest, the tree leaf analogy. So the leaves of a tree, it's an extension of what the tree is, right? From the roots, it's an extension of the roots. So as the roots grow, it grows into essentially the leaves and the branches, etc. And those leaves have a purpose. Each leaf is important. It has a purpose. It does its job, you know, carrying water to the roots, etc., and many other functions. I'm not a plant expert, but they are very important, each individual leaf. But to say that a leaf is a tree or the root of a tree, in this context, I'm going to give tree and root some sort of a synonymous value. So to say that they are this, yeah, so they're the same. So to say that a leaf is the same value of what tree is just doesn't make sense. To say that we are God, or I am God, oh, it's a lot of nettles. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. And so I disagree with the notion of, yes, being called God, because there's so much of God that we cannot fathom, of his capabilities. And I'm saying he because I grew up in an Abrahamic religion. We just couldn't even fathom it, and it gives me the sense that of like saying that I'm God satisfies the ego more than it does for the soul. And I've come to that conclusion. Yeah, it may feel good in the moment, like, yeah, I'm so powerful, to empower yourself, but I don't think it's a notion that we should be encouraging in this whole existence, metaphysics, reality creation, manifestation, whatever you want to call it. I really disagree with it, and I don't want to advocate for that type of thinking, because it's promoting like this sense of power. Empowerment is great, but to encourage desire for power, this is where it can open the doors for corruption. It makes us want to desire more things. Most of the modern manifestation content, they want to, it encourages people to always get, attain, you know, you can have whatever you want, and that's great, but it doesn't focus on your soul's desires. It's focusing on materialistic desires, and that is just not healthy in my opinion. So I think when I see a lot of videos that says, oh, just say you are God, affirm it because you are, etc., I don't think they're truly understanding the idea of wholeness, but also the idea of why we have become individualized. And that is essentially, so I'm just going to get through these leaves, and that is essentially something to talk about, something to figure out, but something that is very prominent in all the religions. I mean, all the major religions as a perennialist. I mean, when Jesus, I'm just looking at my notes, you know, he is joined onto his Father. He never claims that he can do everything all by himself. He says, I think I've got myself trapped. Let me just walk this way. He always says that I and the Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. he acknowledges that God is the ultimate. He acknowledges the separation. But so is that the case for the Hindu doctrines, where Atman is the individualized self from Brahman. Brahman is the entire reality. Okay, I'm finally out. Okay. Brahman is the entire reality, the one, the ultimate, the powerful. And sorry, yeah, that's what Brahman is. My mind is going. And Atman is the individualized self. And this individualization has been done for a reason. And so to say that we are God in the sense of not acknowledging that individualization, I feel like, and this is an intuitive feeling, I suppose. I'm coming towards a gate, but it appears to be locked. Let me just see if I could unlock it. Yeah. Sorry, my walks in nature is quite hard for me to articulate my thoughts because I am naturally in a meditative state, and then I get distracted by the beauty of God's works, just the simpleness of nature is enough for me. Anyways, yes. So there is a reason for our separation, and it's to realize and to experience what it's like to not be God, to be human. We've created that concept, you know, it's human to do this, it's human to do that. We've objectified it in a way, if that is the right word. And for good reason, because this is part of the experience. Everyone has individualized lives, everyone has a purpose, whether they want to believe it or not, whether they're religious or not, spiritual or not, it does not matter to me, because in my perception that is the case. We have more sheep. And so this separation, from what I've seen from many scriptures, is that God, the ultimate, you know, the Father, the Brahman, the One, or as translated in Arabic, Allah, we are to live this life, to play this game, to enjoy it. And if you've seen my video about desires, we have soul desires that we've come in here in this lifetime to fulfill. But at the same time, we can only truly achieve it when we reunite with God. Otherwise, we get into this reincarnation thing where many spiritual religions believe in, especially in Hinduism. I'm not sure if Buddhism believes in it. I'm not an expert. But so you keep getting reincarnated, your soul, until it fulfills its desires, until it realizes who it is with God, with the Creator, the ultimate reality, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I'm not too sure where I want to go. There's a lakeside just over there, and then there's lots and lots of sheep. I think I'll go to the lakeside, just because I was surrounded by a lot of sheep in my previous videos. Oh, I can get one up close. There's some sitting down. Yes, so I guess it's not, I don't want to make this a long video. I feel like I've said all my notes, but we're stepping away from tradition, we're stepping away from trying to actually seek the truth, because we're just so blinded by having all these materialistic desires. Oh, I want this man to love me, I want this certain amount of money, I want this career, I want this kind of fame, and I'm going to manifest it, and that's all good. I'm just gonna quickly, oh, so beautiful. Anyways, back to me. If I can, there we go. Oh, we got scared. Okay, so yeah, all these desires, it's trying to get all these desires and to attain and to get, but it's not truly understanding our purpose, our existence. We're not asking the right questions when we get distracted by always getting, always wanting, because that's such a lower self. Not even animalistic, because that's extremely low, but it's such a, if there was like levels to states of consciousness, which I do believe there are, maybe I'd have to find a way to articulate them, then it would be quite low to just think that all this life is to get. Because I think we are here for spiritual lessons. We are here for our souls to learn a lot of things, to experience. And you know, the Christian belief that we are made in God's image, I understand that too. And I believe even if we were part of God as a whole, we are not individually. And I know a lot of people know that, but it's still the notion that I see online with this community that is the case. And we have to be careful with our words, and maybe that's another topic for another video, the power of words and language, because when you say stuff like that to your subconscious brain and what you're feeding it, it's not ideal. And it's just, it becomes a culture, it becomes a herd mentality, and it becomes toxic because we are not asking the right questions. I don't know if I'm waffling at this point right now. Oh, the lakeside. That is stunning. But yeah, I really disagree with it. I think even if you weren't from a traditional perspective, I just think if you was to look at it logically, we are co-creators. I believe that. We were given free will. We were given tools, our hands, our legs, our bodies, our mind to be doing great things. You know, even if we didn't have some of these tools, you know, we are still able to do amazing accomplishments. And yet, we have to know our place. I mean, even if, let's say, for example, I was God, or I was part of the one God, and I individualize myself for a reason, maybe because if we had all that could ever exist, there is no purpose, there is no enjoying the process, which is another video that I talk about. And I suppose there are lots to think about in this topic, but I do not advocate for the notion of, oh, I am God, you are God, and you can manifest whatever you want, because I don't even see it as a limitation that I'm not God. It's the fact that when I am with God, that's a different topic. That is me practicing Jesus Christ's teachings and many other spiritual greats like Buddha and many other prophets in the biblical, Quranic and Hebrew stories, right? And so we are supposed to, this is my opinion, we are supposed to unite with God to, it's quite cloudy, we are supposed to work our soul's way to reunite with God, to know who we are, to know the oneness, the wholeness, to know our soul's desires, achieve them, learn all the lessons along the way, live a fruitful life. You know, have materialistic desires, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's not all there is. And once we do that with reuniting with God, that is our ultimate purpose, to know who we are, you know, to know thyself, as Socrates says. But for anyone that is familiar with Socrates' teachings, is also to always question things, to always criticize and question, and to always figure out the truth. And that is not what the manifestation community does. It's more so as, here's what I believe in, do these techniques, and you'll get anything your heart desires. And it's just, it's not a great approach, in my opinion. That's not something that I would want to teach or share from my experiences. I mean, of course you can manifest quite a lot of things, but I don't think anyone is truly in a position to say that you can manifest anything you want and what the limitless is, in the sense of from their own perspective. Everyone has got a limited perspective. We are all limited for a reason. So I would really avoid looking to other people and saying, can I manifest this? And it's like they say, yeah, you can manifest whatever, but they are not truly one with God to know it. I think relying on spiritual teachers over time and history is great, especially with Jesus Christ's teachings. It's impacted my life a lot. But it's the teachings itself that we should practice, and whether we can get that desire or not, that is something that you would have to figure out in your reality, in your perception, etc. It's not something that you should seek validation in other people to think, oh yeah, if I can get this, you know, because so and so said so, they said that I'm limitless. You need to experience that. You need to feel it to truly grasp the responsibility and meaning of it, to then try it out in your life and get anything you want, etc. But there's more to life to it. And yeah, I did want to keep this video short, but it's reaching 16 minutes now. I do like to waffle a bit, but I'm just going to try and get a good view of the lake. It is a very moody, cloudy weather, but I'm just going to get closer and see if there's a better view from this camera. I should have walked up closer, to be honest. Sometimes having appreciation for the most simplest things gives you a whole abundance of appreciating all that is. That's what I like to see it as. Just getting a little bit closer. This is quite a long video now because it took me a while to walk all the way up here, but for those that like to stay till the end, they get to reap the view of this. Lovely. Just pop the camera back to me. And I would just like to end this video with my disclaimer, can't even speak now, that I am by no means claiming that I am knowledgeable in everything, except that I am in the humble pursuit of wisdom. I can only speak from my experience, and that is what I'm trying to express in this video, my limited experience, trying to explore the limitless. And that is what I'm encouraging everyone to do, explore the limitless. And yes, I hope this video gave a bit more clarity. Hope it answered the question that I've put on the title of this video. And I don't want to advertise this too much because I am not doing it to necessarily gain anything, but I do offer calls, coaching on changing your mindset, regards to with whatever religion you come from, and utilizing your spiritual knowledge into essentially becoming closer with God, closer with tradition, understanding tradition, and then using that realization to manifest, you know, essentially manifest your desired reality by your state of being, your state of consciousness. And I will help you figure out your desires, etc., and your place with God or ultimate reality, whatever you want to call it. Or even if you are not spiritual, religious, and you're more of a scientific-minded person, I am equipped to help and guide with that too. The link is down below in my description. It's run on Calendly, and yeah, I guess that's all I have to say now before I end up waffling more. But thank you for watching.